dawn of history's embrace. Captain's quarters sets the pace with Captain Mayhem at the helm. A voyage of knowledge, a story to round. Captain's quarters weekly delight, where history's treasures take flight. Led by Mayhem, Longwood, and Joe, they explore the past, row by row. Navigator Longwood charts the course, guiding listeners to knowledge.
Hey! Welcome aboard Captain's Quarters Podcast. It is the 23rd of December. You can see we have two elves on the show today, and it is our 167th episode, and this is our last live episode for 2024. And we welcome, of course, Mr. Navigator Davey Longwood and a good friend of ours from the magic world, Andrew Ratliff. Hello, Andrew.
Hey, Captain. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Hey, well, thanks for filling in. Davey and I were just going to sit here and talk to each other, but hey, now we have somebody else on the show, so we don't have to talk to each other now. I like it better that way. So, let's do 8 bells, Davey.
All right.
Oh, yes, we should do that too. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find us, use that QR code and like us, follow us, and subscribe to us. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, YouTube, Captain's Quarters Podcast, every Monday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we are sponsored at this point right now by the Pirate and Treasure Museum. But we go into 8 Bells, which is sponsored by the family of reenactors, the Riker family. They do Spanish, they do British, they do colonial, they do Wren. They do it all. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go right into 8 Bells. Davey, what do we got? 6?
4.
4. Oh, that'll be easy then. Alpha Anderson, an American singer and educator, best known as one of the lead vocals of the 1970s band Chic. At the height of Chic's fame, Anderson regularly appeared on the television shows such as Soul Train, The Midnight Special, and Top of the Pops. She released the single Former First Lady of Chic in 2013, and the album Music from My Heart in 2018 left Freak, featuring Anderson on the lead vocals, was inducted into the 2015 Grammy Hall of Fame. She was 78 years old. Jean Marie Jennings, an American journalist, publisher, and television personality covering the automotive industry. After writing for Car and Driver from 80 to 85, she co-founded Automobile, where she continued to write her widely known column, Vile Gossip, after becoming the magazine's editor-in-chief 20 to 2014 and president 2006 to 2014. Jennings received the 2016 New England Motor Press Association's Lifetime Achievement Award. She was 70 years old. Arthur James Evans, an American actor who made multiple films and television appearances over 3 decades. His first credited role was in Chico and the Man as Bubba in the episode Too Many Crooks, which aired in 1976. He is probably best known for his role as Leslie Barnes in the action film Die Hard 2, in which he played the chief engineer at Dulles International Airport that helped LAPD Detective John McClane, played by Bruce Willis, stop terrorists from crashing planes, and he was 82 years old. Ricky Nelson Henley Henderson, I heard about this over the weekend, nicknamed the Man of Steel, was an American professional baseball left fielder who played 25 seasons in Major League Baseball, MLB, for 9 teams from 79 to 2003, including 4 separate, what's that word? Man, I'm having problems seeing tonight.
10 years.
10 years with his original team, the Oakland Athletics. He is widely regarded as baseball's greatest leadoff hitter and base runner. He holds MLB's record for career stolen bases, runs, unintentional walks, and leadoff home runs. In 2009, he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in his first year of eligibility. He was 65 years old. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is 8 Bells. We raise a glass and we give honor to those that have passed, their fans and their families. 8 bells, Davey. All right, very good. Let me see if maybe cleaning these glasses will help a little bit. Oh, my. So, Davey, I think we're at Joke of the Week with Minnie Mayhem. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
Ahoy, mates! Minnie Mayhem here with Joke of the Week. Sponsored by Salt City Comics. What do you get when you cross a pirate with a Christmas cookie? Think about it, and I'll give you the answer at the end of the show.
I don't know. What do you get when you cross a pirate with a Christmas cookie? I guess we have to wait till the end of the show to find out. I'm not sure I want to know. Quote of the Week by Spyglass Travel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want a great walking tour of St. Augustine, why, call up our friends at Spyglass Travel. Not only do you get a great walking tour of the history of the oldest city in the nation, but a good cardio workout because their tours are at least an hour long each. That's an hour's worth of cardio. Call up Spyglass Travel. But for now, what is our quote of the week, Davey? It's not what's under the Christmas tree that matters. It is who's around it. Charles M. Schulz. If nobody knows who that is, he is the creator of Charlie Brown and Peanuts. Very good. I like that one, Davey. That's a good one and very appropriate for the night, since we're only 2 nights away from the great Christmas. National Day of. I saw a couple of them. I went ahead and read it ahead of time. There's one that's going to give me some fits, but National Day of on December 23rd encourages families to delve into their family history, heritage, and ancestry. The National Roots Day. Each year during the holidays is an ideal time to collect family information. While families gather around the table telling stories and sharing memories, someone is sure to be the family historian. It is entirely possible a grandparent, an aunt, or an uncle has already started a family tree and will share with the other family members. It is a great thing to do, and it is a wonderful thing to know your family heritage. So there you have it. What's next? This is the one that's going to give me some problems. National Purpuri Day. I have no idea. I should have asked Annette, Tinker and Annette, to give me the answer to this one because I have no idea what that word is. A German spice cookie. Very popular around the holidays. Pfeffernusse are fluffy cookies made with ground nuts and spices and covered in powdered sugar. Why don't they just say it's a cookie? The exact origin of this cookie is unknown. So if it's unknown, why are we trying to pronounce it? However, the Dutch believe that the or Purpernoten in Dutch, well, thank you very much for giving me something easier, are linked to the Feast of Sinterklaas, which is celebrated on December 5th in the Netherlands and December 6th in Germany and Belgium. This holiday is when children receive gifts from St. Nicholas himself. Each year, December 23rd is Festivus, commemorates a holiday episode of the television comedy Seinfeld. In 1997, the popular television comedy brought Festivus to the masses when Frank Costanza, played by Jerry Stiller, explains he invented the holiday in response to the commercialism of Christmas. Its slogan is Festivus for the rest of us. And it still continues to be something that brings smiles to a lot of people's faces. And I believe the last one is Forefathers Day, which kind of goes in hand with Roots Day. The landing of Pilgrim Fathers in Plymouth, Massachusetts on December 21st, 1620. The Old Colony Club of Plymouth, Massachusetts introduced the observance in 1769. The town observes the holiday on December 22nd, unless on a Sunday, then on the following Monday, which happens to be today. So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, Forefathers Day. Very good, Davey. What is the background you're using? It looks like a clock.
It's actually Santa's workshop.
Oh,
Wow.
Very good. That's a good one. I like that. Very good. All right. So now that we've done that, we should do question of the week. And question of the week could be controversial to some. It is sponsored by Ancient City Sirens, the dancing group extraordinaire led by Miss Gina herself. You want a good dancing troupe for your event? You have to call them up. Why is that? What is that? That's just something is. What is it? Something is in my picture and I can't figure out what it is. It's right. Oh,
Is that a
all right. We figured it out now. Very good. Jeez. It's like looking in a mirror. Anyway, Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays. Which is it for you? I make it a point. It's Merry Christmas, especially being out there doing the Santa Claus rides over the last 4 or 5 weeks. The last Santa Claus rides I do will be tomorrow night, 5 more, and then the suit goes into the mothballs for the year. And we'll leave it at that. I noticed a sideways glance.
Captain, you're driving Santa around. How's the weather been down there in St. Augustine?
The weather has been really, really cold on some of the nights. It has been very, very cold. And in fact, as it gets to the end of the evenings, it's dropping down into like 39 to 44 degrees. And when you're on a cart with no windshields or nothing around you, it's nice and cold. Yes. My hot chocolate that I usually have is not hot chocolate by the time I'm out there on the road.
Chocolate milk.
Let you know that. All right, let's see. This week in nautical history, Davey, what do you got?
All right.
And it's
Welcome to This Week in Nautical History, sponsored by our friends at Florida Water Tours. Experience the intercoastal waterway at its finest, featuring picture-perfect attractions. We begin this week in nautical history in the year 1492. Christopher Columbus' flagship, the Santa Maria, runs aground and sinks on the north coast of Hispaniola. The crew are left to found a colony as Columbus returns to Spain. 1643. Christmas Island founded and named by Captain William Miners of East India Ship Company vessel the Royal Mary. 1777. James Cook is first European to visit Kiritimiti, also called Christmas Island. 1812. The USS Constitution, under the command of Captain William Bainbridge, captures the HMS Java off the coast of Brazil after a 3-hour battle. 1860. The first British seagoing ironclad warship, HMS Warrior, is launched. 1862. U.S. Navy formally commissions first hospital ship, the USS Red Rover, a captured Confederate sidewheel barrack ship converted for the purpose for service on the Mississippi. 1899. British fleet seizes German Imperial Mail steamer Bunzersrath, accused of carrying contraband. 1919. First hospital ship built to move wounded naval personnel launched. 1941. First ships of Admiral Nagomo's Pearl Harbor's fleet returned to Japan. 1943. British sink German battle cruiser Scharnhorst. And finally, in 1963, fire on Greek ship Laconia, 128 die. And that was This Week in Nautical History.
very good. Look, there's another smiling face on the show. Who is that there, Mr. Andrew?
This is my youngest son, Mr. Charlie. Say hi, Charlie.
Hi.
Hello, Charlie. Nice to have you on board the show. So, since we've done that, next is what we call community advance and community calendar. First off, let's see. Let's talk about Gina's event, which Andrew was one of the performers. That was this past Saturday night at the Shriners Club over in St. Augustine on Brainerd Drive. and all the money and everything they raised was benefiting foster children and Alia's Acres. So, Davey, you attended the event. What did you think?
That was really good. I got some videos.
Okay, very good. And you have a clipping of it? Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Let's do that first, and we'll talk about the event.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was catching messages that keep popping up on my phone. Very good.
There was a little special clip. Hold on.
Gina Marie, I have a Christmas gift for you. I heard there's a big rain incident. A lot of your gear got rained on. So this year I'm not sending you an invoice. This one is, in fact, on the house. Merry Christmas to you. That donation's going to go to Alice Acres, and I'm happy to do it. Let's do it again next year.
Very good, Andrew. Very impressed. Very impressed. Good man. I know I have good people in the circles I move around in. Very good. I am quite impressed with your generosity. Very good. So, what did you do in your show, though? I mean, was your show that good that you could give away the money, or what?
So I've this year I finally made it to the point where I have more gigs for my part-time job, my performing job, than my day job. So I've been doing a lot more entertaining here recently. And instead of having like 2 events this month of December, I think I'm up to either 9 or 10 events total. So I usually one group a year. I know I don't usually make this announcement, but at least one group a year, I try to do some give back to them because they've been so kind to me over the years when I needed the work, type of thing. So,
well, good. Good. That falls in line with something that Harry Houdini created towards the end of his life, and that was National Magic Week, where he expected all professional magicians to give a little bit of their time each year to a charity of their choice, to make a good showing of the magicians and get the magic out there. So you are falling in line with the great Harry Houdini. So very good. I am proud to call you a friend.
I appreciate it, Captain. Proud to call you a friend too. And thanks to Gina Marie for always having me come back the past. I think it was my 4th performance with that group. And David's always either my sound guy, a great face to see in the crowd. And every year he knows I'm going to perform, whether it's a seafood festival, Ancient City Pirate Festival, or Gina's Winter Gala. He's always like, "Hey, Andrew, are you going to do the Straight Jacket Escape?" He looks
Oh,
forward to it.
I have that clip too.
Yeah. So that was a tip of the hat to Harry Houdini's Straight Jacket Escape, but mine has the addition of the chain wrapped and padlocked to make it a little bit more fun and exciting.
So when I asked your pre-show about first and 2nd of February, that's Old City Pirate Festival. So you've already got a booking, so you won't be able to do it. I will give you the date for the Seafood Festival, which is in the latter part of March. I think the third weekend. I'll double check that so we can get you locked in for that. I see Zachary Harper is on board with our show tonight. There's Will the historian from Alabama. Zachary Harper is up in Michigan. And let me see here. I see Al Lane is on board with us. Pleasure to have you, Al. Good to see you. He's down in the Palm Coast area, I believe. So it was an overall good event then. I've heard nothing but good stuff about the whole event for Gina, and she was very pleased with everything. So I think it worked out well. And I think she's going to continue to keep doing it. It's a great event. It's a great venue. And as long as she keeps doing it and it sells out, she might as well keep doing it. One of these days, maybe I'll get to go.
I saw you briefly last year. It sounds like you finished up your tours early that night. And you got to catch the... But no, always great to see familiar faces. I'm not like officially in a pirate crew. I only do a couple events a year. But man, let me tell you, your community of people down there always is welcoming with open arms and smiling faces, and it makes me feel like one of the groups. So you guys, as a group, applaud to you all. Appreciate the openness and warm, friendly reception always.
Well, it helps that you're a good performer. Also, I can say that. I can say that very, very wholeheartedly because you are a good performer. You are very entertaining. You are a great magician. You do some really great entertaining stuff, and I'm going to have to tell you a direction I'm going now, and I'll say it now. You know, I'm having problems with these things, so I've started finding tricks, magic routines, and I found one from ages ago that I'd always wanted, and I went online and I found them, and I believe that with some of the money that I've earned, I'm going to buy one of them. And it's a pistol shooting trick, but they've modified it so you don't have to use a gun. You can actually use the kid's fingers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they've modified it to be very kid friendly. So, but I can modify it to use a toy pirate pistol also. So I'll tell you more about it at another time. So that was that. My Santa Claus rides, as I said, are almost over. I only have 5 more to do. When it's all done, I will have done 93 Santa Claus rides. 93. And I'm tired of driving Santa around. But, Davey, you got that other poster? There are a few nights left that you can actually book the same cart and ride around with Captain Mayhem through the Night of Lights. As you can see, there are 23 left. As of this morning, the 23rd of December, I thought that was pretty ironically unusual. But come on out and take a ride with Santa. I mean, with Captain Mayhem. You got to be able to keep your character straight. So Captain Mayhem will be taking off on those rides. If you are a pirate crew up to 8 people and would like to do all of you on the same cart ride, if you'll send a message to Captain Mayhem, I will be happy to give you a secret piece of information that will allow you to get a little bit of extra out of it. And if you book a ride that is like a 7:30 or an 8:30 ride, at the end of the ride, when I secure the cart, we can make sure we go have at least a rum downtown somewhere and enjoy the festivities just a little bit longer. But as you can see, as of this morning, there were 23 left on the books. Book one if you like. Come out and have some fun. What else do we have, Davey? December 30th. The crew Captain's Quarters podcast and the St. Augustine Swashbucklers are hosting a social event. In the past, we've done this for I don't even know how many years. The last 2 years, it was the Captain's Quarters podcast. We tried to do a live show. We've decided not to do that. We've done raffles. We've done 50-50. We've decided to throw all of that away. And we're just going to have everybody that wants to show up, have some drinks, have some food, enjoy some social time, some camaraderie. And we're going to, Davey and I will be setting up, mostly Davey, because he's the one that knows how, going to set up the cameras, and we're going to let everybody have an opportunity to do like a 6 to 12 second clip wishing everybody a happy new year as it comes around. And then Davey will take all of those clips and put them into a video that we will use on Facebook to show everybody a good time that was had by all. So come on out. That's one of the activities. The other activity is we will be giving away 2 charity checks to Inc. and Alia's Acres. They're the 2 charities we do so much work for. So come on out and just have a good time. There may be some other surprises. I don't know. But we're just going to say, come out and meet the crew. We have some people that are interested in joining. This is a perfect opportunity. If you want to become one of the premier St. Augustine Swashbucklers, then come out, meet the crew, make yourself known, and let's see what we can do about upping our membership and getting back into 2025 so that we can do what we do so well, charity work. But December 30th, 6:30 at Dick's Wings. It's a Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. That's next Monday, a week from tonight, which means there will be no show. None whatsoever. You can take a break from our show, but be rest assured that the video that we do that Monday night will be put out starting the 1st of January. Hopefully, I'm putting the pressure on Davey to edit it by then. And we'll run it for a couple of times and see what happens. But Davey can handle the pressure. Right, Davey?
That's right.
Okay. Let's see what else is on there. Old City Pirate Festival. That's coming up on the 1st and 2nd of February. We will be really kicking it in the hindquarters and getting it in gear. I have had so much work the last 5 weeks. I've had very little time to do the things I need to do for Old City Pirate Fest. So I'll be asking everybody in the crew to step up so we can get this going. We did well last year. Let's continue on. But more information on that when we do our first show. And we'll see what happens. Davey, I've already got a couple of people that want to do shows into the new year. But if anybody wants to join us, we'll be making another announcement later on in the show. For now, though, I think that's it, unless I missed something, Davey.
Nope, that's it.
All right, very good. So let's talk to our guest a little bit more, since he was gracious enough to come on board and wear Christmas stuff. So I'm excited to hear you're getting bookings. You're on the cusp of actually maybe turning magic into a full-time living for you.
That is correct.
Knocking on wood.
It's been a long time coming. The concern was obviously having enough work, have a lot of people here at home relying on me, and I want to make work something fun and enjoyable, but also make a living at the same time. So I've had to expand on the things I offer. So I'm a magician, do a lot of adult parties, adult shows, kids shows, family shows, a mix. I'm also a juggler. I think juggling is the first thing I did years ago before I even learned magic. I also am a stilt walker, so you more commonly see me around in Jacksonville, either community events. I do a lot of like Nocatee, Rivertown, Easttown, Julington Creek. So I do a lot of their big like Halloween, Christmas events. And then I also am a fire performer, so I eat fire, juggle fire, breathe fire. A sideshow performer, better nails, broken glass, dangerous stunts. And then most recently, I taught myself, I like electronics and technology. I taught myself how to be a DJ because it turns out there's a lot of weddings that need a DJ, and that's a very busy market with essentially events year round, inside, outside, rain or shine. So for the past year and a half, 2 years now, I taught myself from learning online and practicing in person how to be a DJ. So my company, which I'm going to casually plug, of Entertain Jacks, I try to offer a variety of things. Thank you, David. Entertain Jacks. I try to offer a variety of things because I want to be available to take any opportunity I can. I know where I excel and I know where I'm not strong. I don't do balloon animals. I let the experts do that. I don't do face painting or body painting. I let those experts do that. So I just found things that are fun to me. And if I could turn fun into a paid opportunity, that's what I've been trying to do for the past several months more seriously as I've finally made a decision to dive in head first.
Well,
Why
that's
don't you do fire stuff for us?
well, you know why, Davey? Because we're kind of limited to having fire on the grounds of the
Oh.
Colonial Quarter.
Bummer.
Yeah, we're limited. When we do pirate events on the grounds of the Colonial Quarter, fire and stilt walking are the two things I'm always told, nope, we don't want that on our property.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a higher risk, but as a professional, I have performers insurance, but that still doesn't mean that I have precedent over the venue. Always in charge of their venues, with respect to their wishes.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's a very important point that a lot of people don't understand, and that is to protect yourself and the insurance. And so we'll just glance off of this one here for a minute, because when I was doing magic full time out in Arizona, and then in Las Vegas, and then came here and started doing pirate full time, there are so many people in these circles that we're in, pirates and Ren Fair and magicians and fire breathers and stilt walkers and balloon animals and everything else. There's so many that just say, oh, this sounds like easy money. But there's a lot of work behind the scenes, aren't there?
There is, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and you got to cover yourself. You got to protect yourself. And the insurance is not necessarily to protect you if you have an accident. The insurance is to protect you if an accident involves somebody watching you or participating in your event. That's what the insurance is for. Most people don't truly understand that. So, I mean, I've known a couple of good bird workers in the magic field that have had birds that fly off stage and fly back again. They train them to do that, fly out over the audience and come back. Well, when they fly out over the audience, once in a while, they give the audience a little extra.
I'm sure.
And some people, you know, so your insurance covers the dry cleaning and maybe whatever else. So, I mean, that's just an absurd example, but that's what people don't understand. It's the same with this show. The music we use, the backgrounds we use, the pictures we use, we have to pay for all that. We learn a few lessons the hard way, but you end up having to pay for all these things. And so it's not just putting on an outfit and going, hey, I think I'm going to be a magician.
Right. I usually
tell people, learning all the business side of it now, and there's a lot of work involved.
I usually, like, when people ask me to do stuff for like tips or for exposure, that is great when you're starting out and you don't know what you don't know. So even though people do a charity event, I'm depending on this money. Other people in my family are depending on this money. I tell people every year, the first at least 2 events I do every year are free to me, even though I'm taking money. I have to pay for that performer's insurance. I have to pay for my website and my gig finding website that I advertise on. So that money that's coming into me pays for those things that are required to do this business. And there is an expense. People think I'm showing up, going to do a couple tricks or just juggle for a few minutes. It doesn't cost me anything besides my time. First of all, the time is the only thing we cannot get back. There's no amount of money in the world you can pay to get time back. That's the most valuable thing. And secondly, I'm paying companies for their insurance coverage, for websites, my URL, for hosting the website. Those things all come as an expense. I got to pay for those things. So my first 2 events I do are technically free. And if I feel generous and I have a good year, I can donate my time. I would love to go to your event and offer my services. I don't like being asked to perform for free because there is work on my end. I don't see that goes into all these things.
Well, as you know, when I ask performers to work at some of our events, like Old City Pirate Festival of the Seafood, because they are charity events and because I am an entertainer, I've never asked an entertainer to work for free for me. Never. Because I understand. But I will ask entertainers to give me the best rate they can, with the understanding that it's a charity event.
Absolutely.
And so, but and I learned something back in the 90s. So we're talking now 30 some years ago. I learned because I was an entertainer. I was a booked entertainer at the Michael Landon Golf and Tennis Classic in Tucson, Arizona, probably around 1992 or 92 or 93. So we're talking 30 years ago now.
Right.
And I met all these celebrities. I was an entertainer for all these celebrities, but I found out talking to some of them and having drinks and doing card tricks late into the evenings with some of them around the bars or whatever. I found out that entertainers don't do anything for free. If they're going to go do something, they at least get their expenses paid. So, and I've had arguments with people. They don't understand. Well, you're just coming out and doing card tricks. Yeah, but how many hours do you think it took me to learn that card trick? And how many hours do I have of experience to give me the credibility and the smoothness and the cojones to do a show in public? But people don't see that. They don't understand that. You've far surpassed the abilities and the smoothness, and you need to be paid for your time that you've put into all this. That is an investment. And people don't see that investment. That's an investment.
Skill, you're developing a skill, and people don't understand that a skill is worth something. Just like a chef, a 5-star or Michelin star chef, they're just cooking food. You can cook food at home, so why would you go to this guy's restaurant to pay money for this food? You have to eat, right? Why isn't he just cooking for free out of the kindness of his heart? Well, they have a lot of training. They're doing something very right for you to want to go to a restaurant. So I compare it to a different skill where people understand, like, oh, well, a chef did go to school. And they are providing a service, and they're actually having with the meal, the food they're preparing. So sometimes that helps, but sometimes it doesn't.
No, I mean, I got over on one time. It's always one of the stories I tell when we talk of this subject. I had a very good friend in Tucson, Arizona, who was a lawyer, and he was a very expensive lawyer, and he was known for his lavish Christmas parties and New Year's parties, and he wanted me to come out and sit and do magic for several hours at a table and just, let his friends have fun while I sat and did card tricks and cups and balls and whatever, all close-up magic.
Yeah.
I told him my hourly fee, and he was like, "What? Why so much?" I said,
"Is it worth it?
Are you free? You're a lawyer. Are you free?" Because at that time, his retainer or his hourly fee back then in the 90s was around $275, $300 an hour. My fee wasn't quite that high back then. I think I was doing magic for about $100 an hour for close-up. And he wanted me to be there for a 5-hour party. I said, it'll be $500 plus. And he said, well, that's outlandish. I said, how did you get your law degree? Well, I went to college. How did you get your college? You paid for it. Where do you think I get my experience? Through the School of Hard Knocks and the School of Experience. It's no different. He did pay me, but I had to give him an education. So people don't understand these things. So and there are some really good, very, very good amateurs out there.
Yes.
But they can do 3 or 4 tricks and then that's it.
Yep.
They can't entertain an audience. So there's a big difference.
That's the key. There's a difference between doing it and being entertaining.
Right. Absolutely. I used to tell everybody that anybody can do tricks, but it takes a smooth operator to do magic. And the magic is the performance. What's that?
It's going to lead me into something that I want to do brand new just for you, Captain. We're talking about dexterity can become, as we age or have injury in life, dexterity does become a little bit tougher. So this is a classic you'll recognize. We'll use some keywords later on. But Captain, this is a surprise for you. So I'm going to let you be the audience for once. I have here 4 queens. All right, I have 4 queens. I'm going to take 2 of those queens out. Captain, did I take out the red queens or the black queens?
You took the black ones out.
I took the black ones out. That's right. Bye-bye. The black ones are gone. That leaves us with the 2 red ones. There's the diamond, the queen of diamonds, and the queen of hearts. Want me to take out the Queen of Diamonds or Queen of Heart? Which one do you want?
Get rid of the heart.
Get rid of the heart, which leaves us with a diamond, correct?
That's correct.
Queen of Diamonds, I'm going to take it. We're using our imagination. I'm going to put it backwards so it's different than all the rest. Captain, did we plan this at all?
Not at all. Not at all.
This is my gift to you. I want to give you a Christmas surprise so the magician can be an audience member, because I knew that the Queen of Diamonds was going to be the one you're going to pick.
Very good.
Not only did I know you're going to pick the Queen of Diamonds, but out of this blue back deck, it's the only one that's red.
Ah.
Because we threw away the black queens and the one red queen, they have fallen off the other side as well.
Very good.
Captain, that is my gift to you. Merry Christmas. And we will
That's a very good
tip
one.
our hat. Thank you.
Very,
That
very
is,
good one.
Of the old magician. You would know his name as Phil Goldstein.
Yep.
And he's unfortunately no longer with us, but that is a tip of the hat to him. And that's a new trick I'm adding in my family show. That was the fast version because we don't have all the time in the world. But that's a classic that I've seen. I've been studying it for a while, and I finally got myself an early Christmas gift, and I purchased it. So I'm in the process of working it. That was the first performance, by the way.
Very good. Well, you did well. You did very well. And you're right. It is a great classic. There are a couple of other multi-faced routines that work that way. And now I'm like Penn Jillette. I'm talking in code to you.
Absolutely.
And,
no, so I want to circle back to the dexterity thing, and if that's not on your list of things to do, I highly recommend it because you saw how simple that was. And so,
it is. I mean, it's one of the reasons that I'm going back to, or not going back to, but I'm stepping into doing a bit more mentalism.
Yep.
But I never took mentalism seriously. And because of my background in improv and comedy, I think I can have some fun with the mentalism more on a humorous side.
Yep.
Because I just don't take. I have a really good friend out in Tucson who has switched his entire routines over to an entire mentalist act, and he's wonderful and smooth and serious, and he does a lot of bookings. I just can't do it. I mean, it's the same thing. Some of these people, well, you know what? You understand what cold reading is, and you have these people that have been on television who will take an entire audience and start telling them about things in their past, and all of it is because of cold reading. It's not because they're mentally intuitive that they read minds or whatever else, but they're observational. I mean, I just did it the other day with somebody, totally as an accident, but it just because I was somewhere else playing the guy. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Are the ears?
He's gone.
Ears still there?
Ears are gone.
So I'm sitting there, and this woman comes by with her husband and their little baby, and they'd already been there, and they said, "We're going to come back and take pictures." And I said, "Okay, I'll be you." And they come back. And when she sits down, I say, "So how long have you been a doctor, Miss Kelly?" And she looks at me like, "How do you know?" I said, "Well, that's because, well, in the character I know everything." And
Right.
she just goes, "Well, no, you don't. How do you know?" She's carrying a water mug that has her name on it on one side and the fact that she's a doctor on the other side.
Right.
And people don't understand. You can tell people's age or their birthday, even their name, because they wear shirts and jewelry and whatever else. It gives away all this information, and they don't even know they're wearing it.
In the medical field, we call that a clue.
Yes. We call it a very obvious clue. So I'm probably going to be working on some routines along those lines. And I've got.
You heard of Call
What's
a Child?
that?
a Vegas performer named Colin Cloud.
Yeah.
He is
Yeah.
he's some sort of European. He's either British or Scottish. Fantastic performer. He has a lot of great workout now. He is a fast talker because he has a little youth on his side comparatively to you, but he has some good workouts. I like his style. And if you're leaning down the road to mentalism, I would look up Colin Cloud, some of the things he has on some of those websites with the little black and white bird. You can look up on some of those websites for some of his lectures and his lecture notes. He has some good stuff out right now. And there's a joke among mentalists that the older you get, you have to you have to wear glasses to do some more of the mentalism as our eyes get a little bit weaker as we age. So a lot of mentalists need glasses to read minds for some reason. It's funny concept there.
Yeah, you're right there. As obvious by the fact that I have problems seeing the screen and it's only 3 feet in front of me right now. So,
Right.
yeah, but another routine that I used to have a set, and I think I still do. You know, the pile of boxes of props I have in my garage. I think I have a set of spirit slates back there.
Those are great.
And spirit slates, they're great to work with. So I'm
Stuff with spirit slates. They're talking to the spirits, and the spirits are responding. Not like a Ouija board. A lot of people get freaked out by a Ouija board for those following along, but spirit slates are a great way to get simple answers to easy questions.
and they're easy to handle. They don't require a lot of dexterity.
Turning things over and showing the other, like I showed the other side, it's super easy.
Yeah. I mean, I can still do things like my Chinese linking rings.
Yes.
I can still do those. But a lot of
that are known for their tricks or for their routines or their presentation. And last year you showed up at Gina's Winter Gala, and I was ready for you this year in case you did. I like playing with other performers that don't realize it's coming. So I had the audience was never going to see this coming, and you would be so surprised. I had this trick with 3 unequal lengths of rope that was going to blow everybody away, but you weren't there. So it was going to be the greatest thing ever. They've never seen anything done with 3 unequal lengths of rope before.
Not at all. Never. Yeah. But coming up with your own routines for these things and methods to do them is that's part of the experience thing we were talking about just a few minutes ago.
Yes.
You develop your own and you work on your own. So you're doing well. We've been friends now, for at least 10 years, maybe a little bit longer.
It's probably about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
the brainstorming session. I'm working on a trick that's going to be uniquely me. Not that it's any groundbreaking material, but when I first got into performing, whether it was juggling or magic or even starting sideshow, I don't like dead time on a stage or in between things. I just feel like, especially with internet TV magic, where it's just the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, I feel like attention spans in my short period of time performing comparatively to you, I feel like attention spans have just tanked. And if you're not like hurrying up and moving on to the next thing or moving the trick along, audiences get bored or they just stop paying attention. They get on their phone.
Right.
So what I found is performers like you that have decades of experience, if I asked you to do an hour show, you would probably have about 8 tricks total because you have a story that you've made uniquely yours. You get the mileage and the attention span out of the props are just the props. You are the performance and the entertainment. So when I'm doing an hour show, it would take me I'd have to learn 20 routines for multiple reasons. In case it's a kid heavy audience, I don't want to do this trick. I want to do that one. In case it's an adult heavy audience, but people just get bored. So I feel like I just have to move on to the next thing. As I grow and get more experience and do more shows and learn, I found if I just make routines that have even just like a little bit of a story that's mine or a little more meaning than what the directions say how you should do it, it's a lot easier to have a better connection with the audience, and I can get more mileage, as we like to say in performing, get more mileage out of the routine instead of having to cram another 20 props in my case to bring with me to perform and rehearse.
I'm also switching to two other. I don't have them, but it's in my. I have three routine where I don't have the props, but I'm going to have the props over the next 30 days. And one of them I never would have thought. I used to do. Have you ever seen me do Miser's Dream with the children on stage?
No, but I'm familiar. There's a lot of different ways that I've seen that presented, though. It's a great routine.
I used to do Miser's Dream all with sleight of hand.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as easy anymore. So I'm making some plans for the specific, how shall we say,
apparatus.
the apparatus that make it much easier. So I'm looking at that. I'm also a huge fan, always been a fan of the multiplying bottles.
Yes.
And Abbott and Costello did a wonderful multiplying bottles back in the old days, where Costello actually steals a bottle when Abbott steals a bottle when Costello's not paying attention. So he thinks that he's messed up the trick. And so that's my plan for multiplying bottles, is to have somebody come up on the stage and think they're messing with the magician by removing. And there are some good ones out there. And because I'm a pirate, these bottles can be made to look like rum bottles, and it fits just fine with everything I'm doing. And then the other one is the gun trick I made reference to earlier in the show. So those three will give me a good 25 minutes with three routines, a good 25 minutes of show, because of the story and everything.
If you want some help on working on the multiplying bottles, I don't currently have it filmed. My friend Michael, the magician, Michael Krosniak, he and I did some work on that for our professional liars duo. We only performed it live once because we had to do a second show for the same group of people. But we learned from a duo out of the UK. Their name is Morgan and West. It's an English duo out of the UK. They have a lecture on the website with the little black and white cold bird.
Okay.
They have a great step by step on how to do that. Their inspiration was Abbott and Costello, because while one of them is performing it, the other one is sneaking away, and the trick is still working. It's exactly what you just described. I performed that myself. So if you need some work on it, we can work on that together.
Good. I'll have to look that up. I actually met them in Orlando at the Society of American Magicians convention before COVID. I don't remember what year it was, but I went down for the convention and they were there and I met them. In fact, they gave a lecture on performances with simple objects at wedding receptions, cloth napkins and wine glasses and everything else. So they're very talented in making things fit with where you're at. So I'll have to look that one up then. That's a good one. So
that'd be funny with the rum bottles, especially if the other character with you is a pirate, that's really craving a drink and keeps wanting to steal, and he's chugging down the rum. I mean, you could make a whole little thing into that.
Yeah, I mean, you can have a whole lot of fun with it because it's more comedy. I know a guy out in Tucson that does a really great routine with the multiplying bottles, and by the time the routine is over, he's got all these bottles everywhere, and it's like, what in the heck? How did he do it? But his routine is a story that obviously he made up, but his routine is a story about his grandfather. It's his own story. But that's what you were bringing up. You make the routine uniquely yours with the story that you like. Those three uneven ropes. It's a pirate story for me. If I were to do the trick as the professor's nightmare, it's a 4-minute routine.
Yes.
But I do it as a story, and the audience is singing songs and being a part of it, And it is a 12-minute routine with a lot of comedy and a lot of audience interaction.
3 pieces of rope. If you can get that amount of time in the magic world, that's probably equivalent to, I don't know, $1,200 of apparatus and props to get 12 minutes in your show out of one. But
when I was a real young, when I was a teenager, a young teenager, like 12 or 13, and my dad was stationed over, I was probably 14. My dad was stationed at Tyndall, and we used to go to a spring festival every year in Panama City, and there was a magician there, and his name was Dick Bishop. I ended up becoming very good friends with him, and he became my mentor. But the first time that he, we had an event at our church, and I called him and asked if he'd come over and do magic at our church for everybody. And he shows up with nothing, no case, no bag, no anything, and proceeds to do 45 minutes out of his pocket.
Nice.
With all his props in his jacket.
Nice.
And I have now reached that point. I don't like carrying around a lot of props anymore.
There's one word to describe that.
What is it? What?
Experience.
Yeah.
You've learned how.
I mean, he did color changing silks, separate silks, not gimmick silks.
Yep.
He did a whole routine with sponge balls. He probably did 15 minutes with just a 6-foot piece of rope.
Nice.
So there's so many things that I'm getting into that I take extra props everywhere I go, because you never know when something's going to happen with either repeat audience, or a prop's not going to work. You need backup. I sometimes take more than I need. And if I were to take and do a show with everything I have, I could probably do a 3-hour show.
Here, if like I mentioned earlier, if it's a kid heavy audience, but I prepped mostly tricks where a kid doesn't know, when they look to remember a 3 of spades, they don't know what a 3 of spades is. So I have to have tricks I can rope in for the kids, or vice versa. If I rope mostly kid material, I want to bore the adults. So I always bring extra. Or sometimes something breaks. I have a very famous trick that involves an egg. And what if the egg breaks? You can't do the trick because the egg's already broken. So you got to have a backup plan for something, because things do. Murphy's Law still applies to magicians.
So if it's the same egg trick, is it the egg trick with the dot?
Yep.
Okay. This actually really happened to me and shows your point. So I'm loaded and ready.
Yep.
And somebody moving props on the stage before my routine comes up slams into me with a table. Yep. Guess where they hit me? I had egg running down my pants pocket for the whole show. And I couldn't do the trick. Because I didn't have a spare egg. And everything else in my pocket that I had was just, it was terrible. So yeah, it happens. Some things happen.
Happened in his jacket coat pocket. He got bumped into, and it was over. So what I learned from that and from you, I perform that typically last because it's my gift to the audience. I'm going to bring you guys behind the curtain, show you how one is done. And I don't do a body load for that reason. I work out of a case. It stays in like its own little case, and everything I need comes out of that case for that routine, and it sits separate from everything else because of that.
Well, it's one of the reasons I do it as the very first trick in any one of my performances, so I can get it done and out of the way, so I don't make a mistake during the rest of the show. So same thought, but you're doing it at the end. I'm doing it at the beginning. Same, but for the same exact reasons.
Right.
Because accidents happen. It's that way. So now you've come a long way since I've known you. You're doing really good. So
thank you. Do you do you attend? I think you said you attend SAM, the Society of American Magicians. Are you a member of the IBM, the International Brotherhood of Magicians?
Not anymore. I've let my membership in both of them
That's okay.
wax away. I should improve. I should redo them just because, but I haven't.
They always need more numbers, just like all the pirates need more numbers. The magic clubs need more numbers. My son's coin club needs more numbers. I just don't have time. We talked about time is the only thing you can't buy, make more of. But there's a very famous magician. I know you know his name. He lives here in Orlando, Florida. He's doing his farewell lecture tour coming up. I think it's the second or third week in January. I can pass the info on to you. But Michael Amar is coming to Jacksonville for our local ring to do his farewell lecture tour. I think it'd be a good one. It's on a Thursday if you get the time to make it up to Jacksonville.
I will. I'll try to make some time to do that. Let me know, because I met Michael Amar. His picture and autograph is on he did a lecture in Tucson, Arizona back in 96 or 97. And I got to meet him there. And it was a great lecture. And I got to talk to him. I know with everybody that he meets, I would walk up to him and go, "Hey, you remember me?" No, he wouldn't. I wouldn't do that.
Right.
I would at least reference that I attended one of his lectures in 96 or 97. I was president of the local SAM back then.
Oh, nice.
And so we had him there for that. So yeah, if the timing works out, let me know. I'll come up there for that, just to say hello.
I'll shoot you the day, time, and location, and then I know it's a pretty big drive for you, but if you want to make it come, we can meet up and carpool if we need to. But that's a good one. I've watched his work for years. I started in magic when I was probably about 15, when I was learning if I wanted to do it or not. And my mentor had a lot of Michael Amar's work, so a lot of the first coin and card and silk stuff I watched, I was learning from Michael Amar, and he's been in my state my whole life and never had the opportunity to see him perform live, but a lecture would be fantastic if I could make it to there, which I plan to.
And he's doing it in January?
January.
In Jacksonville?
Going to be in Jacksonville. I think it's the third Thursday. I'll have to look when we get off the line, because
let me know.
Yes, sir.
No worries.
Absolutely.
Yeah, his card on the ceiling is the one that I do.
Everybody loves that. I don't perform it. It's just, I'm not a big card guy. I mean, I'm a big guy, but I'm not as big card.
Yeah, but, his card on the ceiling. I used to do, believe it or not, I used to do the old card on the ceiling with a thumbtack.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, that's the old school way. And then when I saw his lecture in 90, I'm pretty sure it was 96.
Long time ago.
What's that?
I was 10 years old back then.
You could have gone all night without saying that. Yeah, his card on the ceiling routine is probably one of the cleanest I've ever had to have the privilege of using. So it's one I still to this day use. So
a lot
it's a good one.
With the crazy, this is like a career maker, or you'll be known for this. I honestly would say that one trick, if you do that well, that's one that'll make you a name, and that's what gets you booked again and again, because they're going to see that card on the roof with their name on it and be like, I need to get this guy back here to do that again.
I did a birthday party in a home. The little girl's 14 now, 12 now. 6 years ago, for her 6th birthday, her mom and dad had me come do magic, and I did that. I just ran into them the week before our Halloween event, and they are getting ready to sell the house, and they wanted to know if the house had more value because the card was still stuck on the ceiling. Nice. 6 years later. And I said, yes, it's a conversation piece. Charge them an extra $1,000 for the price of your house. But I've done that trip many places that the cards still stay there. Schools, churches.
I don't know which one it is, but there was a restaurant here in town where all the magicians used to meet up for once a month or just whatever. And that restaurant would have like dozens and dozens of cards on the roof. And that was good for both the restaurant and the magician, because people come in here, they're like, what is all that? And they're like, "I'll come back on Thursday and you'll see." That's a good conversation piece, and
Yep.
gets repeat business for the restaurant too.
Yep, very much so. Well, I'm happy with everything that I've done in the magic world, where
Great.
I've gone and what I've done. I by no means have become a superstar in magic, but there are a lot of people that have made a good name for themselves in the magic world, and they're known for in the circles that they're at or the locations or the communities they are. And I feel that's where I'm at right now. I've gotten to meet some of the greatest magicians in the world: Di Vernon, Doug Henning, David
Yeah.
Copperfield, Siegfried and Roy, Penn and Teller. I've met all of them, and I've learned from some of them. Jimmy Grippo, there's a good one for you. If you know anything about coins, Jimmy Grippo. I've learned things from some of them, but the biggest thing I think I've learned from most of them is there's a certain savoir-faire, mystique that a magician should carry with him when he's performing, and they also have to make sure that they don't take themselves too serious. So my son just posted that Paul Hogan just died.
Oh no.
Paul Hogan, isn't that Crocodile Dundee?
Yes.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah. Wow. Have to check that one out, and that'll be something we'll put down the road, I guess. So, what's your favorite routine to do?
I have two favorites.
And I know the first thing you're going to tell me is it depends on the audience that you have, the type of audience, right?
Yes, kind of.
Yes.
It's just pure a magic routine, nothing gross, weird, dangerous, or bizarre. I learned from a great magician who's still a teacher now, Jeff McBride. I learned from some of his literature and videos. I have a cut and restored rope with a ring routine that I do to a backing track of piano music. It's about 3.5 minutes long. David saw me perform it this past Saturday. It's called the Ring and Rope Routine. And I spent probably an hour or two a night for about a week learning that because it was really difficult. And since I've learned it, I now know it forever. And it is my favorite thing to perform because it was really hard. I spent a lot of time in doing it. And I found the perfect song that goes with it. And I just stopped talking for 3.5 minutes. And I just do magic. And sometimes I have this joke about people at a magic show. There's two types of people at a magic show. People that are going to a magic show willingly, and then people that are taken to a magic show. They don't want to either. And I found that this one trick checks both of those audiences off because when I performed it on Saturday, I was introducing myself. I did some juggling and magic before that trick, and it was my second thing in my list. And the moment that backing track hit and I started that trick, everybody got quiet. The side conversation stopped, and everyone seemed genuinely interested in what I was doing. And that's more than anything that makes it feel like rewarding as a performer, that I put a lot of work into something and people look like they're seriously enjoying it. That's probably my favorite one right now.
Yeah, that's so you found a routine that has equal sides of audience appreciation and your pride in the trick.
Yes, if my answer is pure magic trick, that's probably my favorite one right now. And if it's like all around entertaining, it's kind of a tie, which I did both of these on Saturday for Gina's gala. I have a 75-foot rope escape, commonly called the 100-foot rope escape, but I couldn't find 100 feet of rope. And I genuinely let two audience members tie me to a folding chair, however wish they want to. And it's not magic at all. It's truly an escape. I'm letting someone else tie me up as they wish, and I'm trying to get out before the end of the song, since it's a very limited time. That one, or my straitjacket wrapped in chain and padlock, because there's nothing fishy or funny about either of those. Those are purely me demonstrating a skill that is typically presented in a magic show or alongside magic, but it's actually just it's a challenge. Houdini would offer these challenges. This is a challenge where I'm challenging people in the audience to do their best job, and my challenge is to get out of it. So we all have a great time and make it entertaining.
Now, from the picture, you could tell that he hated which two audience members are tying him up, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
They kept putting the rope in front of the microphone, almost like I was to be silenced for some reason. No clue why they would.
So I just have to ask you, because you made the comment. What's that?
At the very end, before the tying was complete, the rope did end up across my mouth, so I had to talk through the microphone.
So is it really 75 feet?
Yes, that particular one is. They didn't have 100 feet on the shelf, so it's a 75-foot rope escape for that one.
Well, there's all kinds of good lines that you can use for that, for sure. You know, in this day and age, 75 is worth 100.
That's it. Inflation. That's not worth as much.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, that's good. Well,
As far as 5.
There are so many that I enjoy doing. And I'll give you an example, one that I don't necessarily enjoy doing, probably because, and before I say this, I'll back up and tell you, I've had a couple of people who are like in my pirate crew, who they've seen me do magic over and over and over again. And I've had some of them come up and go, you know, your show's getting boring. Can't you change it?
It's hard.
Can't you do something different? And I look at them and I say, let me give you 2 things to think about. Most of the audience has not seen me for 10 years, 3, 4, 5, 8 shows a year for 10 years like you have.
Yeah.
And 2, if you think you're boring watching me, how do you think I feel having done this for 50 years?
It's hard.
You do the tricks. Some of the tricks I do, I'm not even really a big fan of the Chinese linking rings anymore. I used to love it, but because it's a staple of my show everywhere, because it's a great trick to do because of the noise it makes and the audience interaction, and it's big.
Yep, big.
And the audience loves it, I do it. I change some of my jokes and my words to make it exciting for me, but otherwise, I don't like it. I just, I don't. It's like doing tours at the Pirate Museum for the children.
Yeah.
Thank goodness I have enough information, and I only have to do 40 minutes, that I have enough information that I can change it on a daily or hourly basis. Otherwise, I'd be bored with myself. And there's the point.
Mentally.
Yes. Well, there's the point of entertaining, is to make sure that you don't let the audience know that you are truly, truly bored by your own work.
It is super simple. I've seen this too many times. I frequently try to watch live shows of all kind. Bands, comedians, haven't seen any of those in a while. Magicians, obviously, when they come through town. And man, it is so disheartening when you see people going through the motions, is the phrase we like to use, of course.
Yep.
When people are just going through the motions, and you could see there's no excitement or joy when they're doing that.
And here's what comes to mind for me. The great Tom Sony. You know who that is, right? His routine was standard routine. His wife standing there, rolling her eyes, not impressed with anything he did. They turned that attitude into the main focus of their comedy.
Yep.
And so if you can figure out how to do those things that way, then the audience laughs with you instead of at you.
Yep.
And that's important. That's really important. I mean, I love being a performer, and I love the challenge, and I've become very disenchanted over the last year or two because of this issue here. I've improved it a little bit, but not as much as I would like to. So I'm working on alternatives. So
I'll ask you the same question. I'll let you be the interviewee. Minus the Chinese linking rings, do you have a favorite routine that you're currently performing, or one you like to watch other performers perform their version?
Okay, so the one I really enjoy doing requires a deck of cards, but the audience doesn't see the deck of cards until the end of the show or the end of the trick. It's completely word, where you throw an invisible deck out and you have them shuffle it. There's some jokes there. They pick either the red or the black side, and they keep one. You throw the others away, and you, through verbiage, you get down to one card that the audience feels they've had a complete choice on the entire routine, that nobody's been coerced into anything. And then when you pull out the real deck of cards, their card, yeah, I know. I do it with an entire deck of cards.
I know, I've seen it.
And
great.
It's really satisfying, because if you do it smoothly, if you do it with enough humor and enough verbal misdirection, the entire way this trick works is completely lost on everybody.
Absolutely.
And when you get from the beginning to the end, and you get this generalized, wow, how did he do that kind of a thing from the entire audience, you know you've done a really good job. And all it requires is the magician just standing there and talking to the audience. And really that's about a 6 or a 7 minute routine.
Yeah. It's the ability to take a trick and make it entertaining, instead of having them think the whole time, how does this puzzle work? How does this gonna, like, to figure it out? So you don't want them doing that. You want them enjoying it.
Yes. I mean, here in one of the lessons, I made the comment earlier, anybody can do tricks, but magicians do magic.
Yes.
The same part of that, or the beginning part of that piece of advice that was given to me by my mentor, Dick Bishop, was this. The props that a magician uses is just like being a farmer, where you have a tractor and a hoe and a shovel, or being a dentist, where you have the tools to work on somebody. The cards, the rings, the silks, the ropes, all of that, those are the tools of the trade. Yep. And anybody can handle and work them.
Yep.
But how smoothly and convincing you work them. And let's go to your rope and ring routine. It's a gorgeous routine, especially with the music behind it. And there's a lot of people that could probably muddle their way through it. But to make it look and feel magical to the audience, the rope and the ring have nothing to do with it, other than the fact that those are the tools you're using to complete this illusion.
That's it.
And that's what a lot of the YouTube magicians I see all the time, where they do the trick and then they give away the secret. Yeah. Because it runs rampant everywhere.
Yep.
Those guys, most of those guys, removing some of the professional magicians that get online and you get the opportunity to learn really good ones. But some of these kids that get online and give away the secrets because they can do the trick,
sure,
they're not performers.
No, absolutely not. Because they would rely on these secrets to help them do their job. Not that, like, you can't find magic secrets, because all the good ones are in your local library for free if you want to go read. But the secrets there.
And
but
little known secret, some of those books from my local library when I was a kid, I still have in my collection. I don't know what the fines would be if I ever had to turn them in again. I thought I was doing the magic world a great service by making sure nobody else could have those books.
Limiting temptation by removing temptation. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, I have a quick question for you over there, because you kind of riding on the side a little bit. You've seen both Captain and I perform individually and together in a show. What do you like or dislike from some of the material you've seen us do? What are your thoughts, David?
Oh, I think you guys work very well together. I like it, especially when we do the children's shows.
Especially
Certain
the one,
children. When
especially
we
the
do
one.
the children's shows.
Oh, by the way, since I have you both here, that gig that we did the last couple of Januaries for all the Jewish children, we don't have to do it this year. They have decided to go a different direction this year.
Huh.
Like
I'm sure it's because.
or
What's that?
like they're not coming to town at all, or they're just doing something else while they're here.
They're doing something else completely different.
Gotcha.
And it was like, I'm not even upset. I'm not doing the gig.
Sometimes you gotta let things go.
Yep. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a fun time for me. I mean, I'm 66, so literally I can say I've been doing magic for semi to professional for 50 years because I started getting paid when I was 16 years old, doing festivals and things over in northern Florida. So it's been 50 years. I've learned a lot, and I've had a lot of things that didn't work. I've had a lot of mistakes on stage, and I address those things too. You took my acting seminar, so you know. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking about trying to revive the acting seminar for sometime in 2025.
Do it.
Just
Performers that
because.
a lot of people could benefit from years of experience. So a lot of this performing stuff is, I've noticed, it's either passed down through mentors or like families that do it, like especially circus, sixth generation tightrope walker. But man, you can waste a lot of time trying to figure it out on your own. It is always worth the money to take a class either for magic or juggling or performing in general from someone that's already figured it out. They could save you years of headache just by listening to those that are more experienced. So, not that because I've just taken captain's class before, but for the fact that I know he's very experienced, I recommend anybody thinking about performing to take his class, and if not any class on being in public and acting as a character. It's very resourceful. It'll save you years of headache.
Do you still have conversations with Mr. G up there?
I haven't seen him in a little while. I am due to catch up with him. We used to catch up at those first Thursday meetings our local magic group would have. It's just an off the books, non official meeting. It's just we'd all meet up at this one restaurant. I haven't seen him in a little while. I know he's been busy online, seeing him perform his shows, but I think he too is slowing down due to physical ailments, though. So he's got to restructure his show as well. But it has been a little while since I've seen him catch up with him.
Well, remember the show, the podcast we did last year where I had all the magicians, a couple of the magicians sitting here. We want to do another one of those, and I think I'd like to try to see if I can get him here. And I'm thinking Krosniak would be a good one to bring in on that show too, and then have you come in. So the three of you would be the ones I'm looking at for that show. So
Fun one.
I gotta pick a Monday in a month that's going to work out. I know it's busy for a while, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But be ready. I'll send you the dates, and if I can get Mr. G to come on in, I'm going to have him come be at the show too.
I still haven't seen this gentleman's show, but at one point you were trying to get Bill Abbott on your show. Did you ever make that happen?
No. Every time we set a date, he ended up with something going on in a different direction, and then I just kind of went, eh. So I need to connect with him now after the first of the year to see if he's still doing his show here. I haven't heard a whole lot about it.
He's show B. I think he did a show A, but to get repeat business, I think he said he switched up his show. So if he had any repeat clientele, he could do the next show for them, type of thing. But
Well,
they're
maybe I can get him on board. That would be a real good thing to get him on board also. So. Yeah. And bring in a couple other magicians. The other one is here at locally, Alan.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I haven't talked to him in a while either.
Mark Allen.
Mark Allen. I'd like to get him on board too. So I might end up having 4 or 5 magicians sitting around. We did a show with 5 veterans sitting at the show. So having that many magicians, I'm sure it would be a really good show and a lot of good stories to share.
There's another performer that I'm trying to get to do the lecture up here for the ring in probably February or March. I think it was February. The gentleman out of Orlando named Nathan Coe Marsh. He's a super busy guy, and he's actually the one that inspired me to learn this one. He's doing some shows up here in February, private shows, but he said if the ring was available to do a lecture, he would try to lecture for us because he's a great performer. He's a worker. He does cruise ships. I think he's traveled the world doing magic. He's a person that my goal with magic is not to be like famous, like we were talking about earlier. Some people are famous magicians. My goal is to perform well, let the audience have a great time, me enjoy doing the work and being paid well enough that it meets my expenses and makes me happy as well. Not trying to be the next Chris, but I want to look up to people that have done the work ahead of me, like taking your acting class. I want to find magicians that here's how they learned. What can I learn from them? That I'm not competing with them. I'm more collaborating. Where if we all do better as performers, it looks good on all of us, so we can all get the good bookings. If you hire a cheap magician and they do bad, you're hire a magician next year, and that hurts all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have to, that you just gave me an idea because I'm on at least 1, maybe 2 magic Facebook pages. I should put the call out there to see if there's any magicians that are touring magicians. I got Jeff Williams on the show last year also.
Nice.
He's up there in the ranks. He's done FISM a couple of times too. And I had him on the show, and it was a lot of fun. And him and I used to do stuff together out in Tucson, Arizona. So cool. I may put the word out on a couple of the Facebook pages and see if I can get anybody. It would be really cool if I had known far enough in advance, maybe that somebody like Michael Lamar or anybody else that's coming up into Jacksonville, if they're here for the right timing, I could get them down here on the show and have them do it live here. So keep me abreast of some of those.
He would be he's a Thursday lecture. I know for sure. I don't remember if it's the 3rd Thursday or the 2nd. I'll have to look. But if for him, if the timing doesn't work, he maybe do a pre-recorded one. But I think probably passing through since he's on a tour.
Yeah, Davey and I have talked about trying to do some pre-recorded ones. And it might be, we're also looking at doing, and this is just good information for everybody out there, we're looking at doing a series of shows. Obviously, they would be pre-recorded, but it's a series of shows that we would do that would be on a pay channel within our Facebook page or within our YouTube channel, so that people could pay a couple of bucks to see that particular show. And we wouldn't do all the bells and whistles we do here. It would be just a good interview that I think we could do. Davey and I have talked about that a couple of times. So I think 2025 is going to be one of those times where we start doing that, where we bring in some people and just do the interview. Davey, we don't need all the other stuff. A good interview for an hour, put on a private part of our channel, and Mandy can tell us how to do all that. I think is one way for us to do what we want to do. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Davey, do you want to do This Week in History?
Yeah, I got it.
Go ahead. Put it up there.
Welcome to This Week in History, sponsored by our good friends at Dick's Wings Bar and Grill. Wings, salads, wraps, quesadillas, and more. No matter what your taste buds crave, they've got you covered. We begin this week in history in the year 1223. Saint Francis of Assisi assembles first nativity scene. 1621. Governor William Bradford of Plymouth Colony, now Massachusetts, forbids game playing on Christmas Day. 1651. Massachusetts General Court ordered a 5-shilling fine for observing any such day as Christmas. 1823. Visit from St. Nicholas by C. Moore, published in Troy, New York Central. 1832. John C. Calhoun becomes first VP to resign. Differences with President Jackson. 1888. Vincent van Gogh cuts off his left ear with a razor after argument with fellow painter Paul Gauguin and sends to a female courtesan for safekeeping. 1890. U.S. 7 Cavalry massacre, 200 plus captive Sioux at Wounded Knee, South Dakota. 1938. Margaret Hamilton's costume catches fire while filming The Wizard of Oz. 1913. U.S. President Woodrow Wilson signs Federal Reserve Act into law, creates the Central Banking Federal Reserve System. 1944. Battle of Bastogne, U.S. General George S. Patton's Third Army repulses German forces. 1947. First Howdy Doody Show, Puppet Playhouse, telecast on NBC. 1968. NASA Apollo 8 crew broadcast, while orbiting the moon, read passages from the Bible to celebrate Christmas. And finally, in 1983, first live telecast of Christmas Parade at the Epcot Center, Disney World, Florida. And that was This Week in History.
Very good, Davey. Very good. Normally at this point in time after This Week in History, you get a little bit from the captain's desk. I have been nonstop working since the weekend before Thanksgiving, and a few things have come up that I'd like to talk about, but I've decided to put it off for now because when you're tired, you don't think straight, and I don't want to say anything bad. But let me say one thing. People need to learn the rules of the road and how to drive. St. Augustine is crowded with people that just don't understand good driving etiquette. Going down the wrong way on the road and then getting mad with everybody that's mad at you because you're the one in the wrong just shows how silly and stupid you are. So pay attention to the rules of the road, pay attention to the pedestrians, and watch yourself when you're out amongst the crowds. Guest on deck. We're looking for anybody and everybody to be on the show. We have started putting together the entire 2025 Monday calendar. So if you want to be on the show or you have a great idea for being on the show, every Monday night, we'd like to take your ideas. We're looking at some points in history. I've already filled in a few things that are close to certain holidays, and we'll have a good time. So if you have some ideas or some people you know that would make good guests on the show, bring them along. Give us a heads up. I know that Vanessa Branch from Pirates of the Caribbean, the movies, will be on our show one of the Monday nights in January. I am not sure which one. And she will be a celebrity guest at Old City Pirate Festival. For any of you that want to know who Vanessa Branch is, all you have to do is watch 2 of the different Pirate of the Caribbean movies. She is the lovely blonde that gets to slap Jack Sparrow on the dock in the movie. And somewhere I have a picture of her slapping me.
Nice.
So there you have it. What else is on my calendar here? I think, it's Joke of the Week, the reveal. We got to let Minnie Mayhem tell us why pirates and cookies. Go ahead, Minnie Mayhem. Let's hear the joke.
Okay, it's time for the answer to the joke of the week. What do you get when you cross a pirate with a Christmas cookie? The answer is a gingerbread man with a wooden leg.
The wooden leg. Nice.
See, Andrew appreciates it.
Moving on. All right, give us a thank you video, Davey.
Ready?
And then when we come back, I'm going to say a thank you to each person that we didn't have. I don't see many in our gallery, but I want to make sure I acknowledge everybody. So give us a thank you video first.
Okay. Oh, and then I before we do something, I also, Mandy's not here with us, but because we have Andrew here, I do have a Christmas jib jab video that we can send off, play for everybody too.
All right, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do this. Let's do our thank you video. Let's show our platforms. Let's show our numbers.
We
And then
don't have the numbers. Mandy did not. I don't
Okay.
know what's
So in
happening.
place of the numbers, we'll do the jib jab.
Okay.
And then after the jib jab, I'll acknowledge everybody, and then we'll do our sign out.
Okay. Here we go.
The Captain's Quarters podcast is indeed a ship sailing the seas of the world, always in search of history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a ship, so we take this opportunity to thank those who help keep this ship afloat.
The casting crew: Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davy Longwood, Gunner Hellfire Henley, Cartographer Mandy Joe, the Powder Monkey, and Juan Cam.
Helping others gives a crew purpose. Our treasured charities that we support: Inc., investing in kids; the Humane Society of St. Johns County; Alia's Acres, a no-kill animal rescue zone; and the Cadets of the St. Johns County Fire Department. The 4 major charities that we support, but there's always room for more.
You too can be part of the crew and support the show in many ways. Go to Patreon. A small monthly contribution as Powder Monkey or First Mate memberships, or a single contribution. PayPal or Venmo. Go to YouTube. Hit the like and follow buttons to join our ranks and support the show. It does take a crew. Thank you.
Very good. And there you can see our platforms. You can watch us on YouTube every Monday night at 8 o'clock, and then it automatically downloads to our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and Twitch. Or you can listen to us. That automatically downloads to iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Twitter, CastBox, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, and Spotify. And I always like to throw this in. I'm trying to give Joe Rogan a run for his money. It's never going to happen, but we all have dreams. So there you go. And Davey, what's next?
Here we go. I'm sorry, Andrew.
we make good elves.
You've now been included.
You're now part.
You're one of us.
So we had Will the historian, my son. I wanted to let him know we got your Christmas card today, and I'm looking forward to all the good things that are coming into your life in 2025. Keep me abreast of everything going on. Zachary Harker up in Michigan. Zachary, you had sent me a message, and I had not talked to Davey about it yet, but we can do this. Davey, the pirate lords that they have up there for the Great Lakes, they may not be able to do everything on a Monday. Do you think we could do a pre-recorded show on a Sunday night and then air it on a Monday?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, Zachary, we'll talk about that. Probably need to look at that sometime in April or May, because January, February, and March for myself, for Davey, and the crew is pretty hectic. But let's talk a little bit more. Let's see, who else is out there? What was that one? Are you watching us from two different he's watching us from 2 different places. I kind of forgot today was Monday. Guess what? I kind of forgot too. But you never know. Let's see what's there. You have friends over multiple religions. If I know their religion, I make it a point to wish them a happy, and I do the same thing. I don't naturally fall to happy holidays because everybody thinks it's wrong to be happy about Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever else. I try to make sure that I'm aware of who I'm talking to and treat everybody with the same amount of respect. We need to quit cookie cutting everything and putting it all in the same box. And that's part of my goal for the new year. Al Lane, as I said, is here, and he's now a new member. We're glad to have you aboard there, Al. And Will the historian said, Merry Christmas and Festivus for all of us, for the rest of us. Very good. And I think that's it. Al Lane is still right there. Thank you for watching the show, Al. I hope you'll continue to watch the show and be a part of our family. And Paul Hogan died. So we're going to have to look that one up and we'll add to it. The show was meant to be much of relaxation, and it gave me a chance just to have a good conversation with a really good magician, someone I have a lot of respect for and appreciate his work. And he's actually, I have to say this, Andrew is actually, there's been a couple of shows that I could not go and do, and Andrew has been the person that I trusted to go do the show for me. So I always appreciate that too.
Appreciate
So
you.
let's see if we can't get a round table of magicians down at my table down here for a show and see what we can do about that. Maybe in the April timeframe when the weather is nicer and everybody will be happy about it. So we'll see what we can do. I will do that. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're about ready to say good night. We thank you all for watching the show. Believe it or not, we went 1 hour and 40 minutes. And as I always say, if it's just me and Davey, we'll get it done in less than 1 hour. But when we have a guest, they'll drag it out of us. So, Andrew, thank you for being a part of the show tonight. Thank you for your work at Gina's the other night.
Yes, sir.
Gina loves having you for her events, and you do a really good job. The way I understand it, other than her dancers, you're the best entertainment they got.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's always fun. Number 2 and number 1.
Yeah. There's a joke there, but I'm going to leave it alone. Yeah. So, Davey, how do we sign out of this for the evening? Before we say it, let's just do this. We wish everybody a Merry Christmas because that's in a day and a half away now. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We won't be here next week. We will be at Dick's Wings. Anybody that wants to come and join us, please come to Dick's Wings at 6:30 Monday night and just have a drink and chat with pirates and just have some social time. And then we'll put some of the highlights of that in a video to show to everybody. So we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you again in 2025. And on that note, take it away, Davey.
Part of the podcast.
Go ahead, Andrew.
Part of the crew.
Always. We can't do it without you. We have to have you around. Otherwise, it would be boring, the three of us sitting here talking. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in 2025. Take her away, Davey. Let's go out to sea.
Of history's embrace, Captain's